Hi guys, I'm Aaron. Today's Body Club workout is going to be a full body muscular strength and endurance based session. So for today's session you need 2 dumbbells. Here I've got 2 6-kilo dumbbells. If you're working at home, if you're not well strength trained or you're a beginner, you might want to go a little bit lighter, perhaps 2 to 4 kilos. Otherwise, you can use 6 kilograms, or if you're feeling strong today, you want to go a little bit heavier, somewhere between 8 and 12 kilos will also give you a really good workout. Okay? We're going to go straight into it today. However, it is advisable to do a warm-up, so somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes of a warm-up, including something that's going to give you a pulse raiser and perhaps some mobility exercises around your hips and your shoulders. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the first circuit. For the circuit, we're doing 45 seconds on and 15 seconds rest. Okay? We've got 5 exercises. I'm going to demonstrate them through to you, and then we'll go ahead and do the first half of the workout. So the first exercise we've got today is a glute bridge. So we're going to come down to the floor and place the dumbbells on the hips. Place your feet a shoulder width apart, and then exhale and just push your hips up nice and high. And it's just important to remember when we're doing this exercise that you just slightly tuck your tailbone under. We don't want the back to be arched, so we make sure we're using the hip extensors and not the spine extensors. Okay? Second exercise we're going to do is up into a reverse lunge. From here, we're going to step back and we're going to do 45 seconds on each leg. You want to make sure your torso is upright. So try not to let the dumbbells pull you forward and down. And make sure your weight's nice and evenly distributed through the front foot. You try not to bend too much through that front knee. Okay? Coming back down to the ground into pullovers, and we're going to do this with 1 dumbbell. So your arms are up over your chest and you can hold on to the ends of it. If you're feeling strong, you can always do this with 2 and press them together. You're going to breathe in and reach your arms back over your head, and breathe out and pull the dumbbell back over your chest. After that, we're going to add a curl. You push the dumbbell through the ceiling and curl upwards. Important with this one that you're not reaching forwards, but actually just pushing upwards. Okay? And then inhaling back, pulling over, and exhaling to curl up. Okay? There's 2 more. We're going to do press-ups. I'm sure you've done press-ups at some point. We're going to do these on the dumbbells. However, if your dumbbells don't have grips like mine, and it's your knuckles on the floor, you can always just do this on your hands. And we want the dumbbells about shoulder width, or perhaps even a little bit wider than your shoulders, and we want them just rotated into about 45 degrees. So from here, take your body weight over, your shoulders over your hands, walk your knees back, push your toes into the floor to lift your knees, create a straight line. Very important when you're doing a press-ups, we want good posture through the spine, so we don't want to be flexing your spine. Really lengthen up, and this way we're really training the core to hold the spine into a good posture, and then down and up into press-ups. Obviously that's a little bit difficult for you, or if you get halfway through and you're getting a bit tired, you can just drop to your knees, and we can just work through on the knees. So one of those 2 options, okay? And then the final exercise we're going to do is a dumbbell swap. So great exercise for your obliques and muscles like leading into your trunk as well. So really good for the stability of your spine. So from here, hands come underneath the shoulders, feet go shoulder width apart. Really have to brace your hips in this position. Okay, they might want to move around. As best you can, try to hold those hips into position. And you breathe in to hold, you exhale to pull. Inhale to swap, exhale to pull. Okay? And we're going to run through that as our last exercise. Okay? So now you've had the opportunity to familiarise yourself with the exercises, we're going to go ahead and get stuck into the circuit. So if you remember, the first exercise was the glutes bridge. We're going to go ahead and do this for 45 seconds. Get your dumbbells ready. Okay. Remember that foot placement. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Make sure those hips are tucking under. You're pushing nice and high through those hips. Good. And then keep that going. Quite a long period here. This is muscular endurance-based training. So you might start to feel a really good burn, especially through the top of the backs of your legs and into your bottom. Okay? And if you can keep that going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. And then we're coming up into reverse lunge. So 15 seconds just to recover. Get your breath back, get set up, and get ready with your dumbbells. From here, head upright, and we're going into reverse lunge. Inhale back, exhale up. It's a nice long, deep lunge, so I'm reaching my back knee towards the floor. And that front knee is stacked over the foot. And again, pretty tough to work through here for 45 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds in, guys, 15 to go. Remember to keep that chest up high, not to let those dumbbells pull you forwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and you can put them down carefully. Shake out your legs. We're going to go to the other side. 45 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Long lunge back onto the ball of the foot. Try not to let that front knee go too far over the toes. Remember that weight needs to be spread evenly through the front foot. If you can, keep looking forward rather than looking downward, because that will pull your body forward and down. And then keep those shoulders open as well. "30 seconds in. Try to breathe out as you stand up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And if you remember, the next one was pullovers with the abdominal curl. So get yourself ready, 15 seconds down to the floor. From here, dumbbell comes up over your chest. Inhale, reach back, pull over and curl. Where you go if you haven't started already. Remember in those demonstrations we were talking about keeping that back pressed towards the floor? Or if you're aware of a neutral spinal position, we're aiming for neutral spine when we reach back. But important, we're just not flaring up through the back, because we're trying to work the abs as well as the upper back here. Last one. Excellent, good. And then we're on to our press-ups. Spinning yourself around. Remember, dumbbells just widen your shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Up into your high plank position. Feet shoulder width apart. Inhale down, exhale push. Don't let that back round. Tough to do this for 45 seconds. So if you need to, drop to the knees and keep going. If this is too difficult still, you can come shorter in with the knees, and you can actually just drop your chest forward and down this way, so your hips are staying in the air. Okay? The last 10 seconds. And release, good. Hope you feel that one, I certainly do. All right, into the next drill. The dumbbell squat, tough one this one. So 3 seconds, 2, 1. High plank position, feet are wide, that will help you stabilize. The wider your base of support, the more stability you'll have. Exhale to pull the dumbbell across. Stay long through the spine, remember we're not rounding off. Good posture. This is a little bit tricky, guys. Don't worry, you can just drop down to your knees and you can keep going. Last 10 seconds. And then we get to the end of this circuit, we're going to go straight into another one. So 15 seconds rest, and then we're going back into our glutes bridge, right to the top. Just give yourself a second to get your breath back. I'll give myself a second to get my breath back, and then we'll go into it again. 3, 2, 1. Into those bridges. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Feet shoulder width apart. Digging in through those heels. You don't want too much weight through your toes. Tucking your hips under. Good control. All the way to the top. A lot of the time when you think it's the top, it's not necessarily the top. So what we're really trying to do is get that shortening of the gluteals, the hip extensors, to really give them that real activation, that real firing up of the muscles. It'll really help stabilizing the pelvis too. Really important muscles to strengthen. Last one, really good. Back up into our reverse lunges. 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Lunging back, right leg. Down, stepping up. Inhale down, exhale up. Really sinking into the knees. Keeping your torso upright, so we want to maintain good posture all the time here. Almost feeling like you're pulling yourself up through the back of your hip, so you're pulling from the hips up into extension. Not just pushing through the knees. 10 seconds. Starting to feel this one now, guys. 2, and 1 extra one. Good. And release. Let's take a quick breather. 15 seconds. Back into 45 on the other leg. 3, 2, 1. Inhale back, exhale up to standing. Really keep your torso nice and upright. Keep looking forward. That torso has to be upright, otherwise you'll just end up leaning forward and then just overworking the quads. We want to get the hamstrings and the glutes working too. And we do that by pulling through the back of the hip, really driving the knee back and the hip forwards. So we're getting hip and knee extension with this exercise. 10 seconds to go, guys. Keep it up. Last rep. Awesome. Good. Down into those pullovers. Lying on your back. Dumbbell over your chest. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reaching over, breathing in. Touch the floor. Exhale, pull over, curl. Inhale back. Over, curl. Really remember you're reaching up opposed to forward, okay? Reaching up. And you don't want to curl up too quick, with control. So we're not looking for jerky movements here, nice, smooth, controlled movements. The last rep. Exhale it up. Really good. And release down. Well done, guys. So, 2 exercises to go. Press ups and then the dumbbell high plank with the swap. Bit wider than your shoulders. We want to make sure now, 3, 2, 1, let's go. We want to make sure we're over the top of the dumbbells. So your hands are going to line up with your chest here. Inhale down, exhale push. Alternatively, drop to the knees. A little bit easier version. Easier still, if you're struggling, walk your knees in and just drop your chest to the floor, okay? 15 seconds to go. Keep pushing, guys, really work yourselves. You can go all the way to 45 seconds. Locking those shoulders down so your lats are nice and active. Last rep. Push through. Very good. Last exercise in this circuit is the dumbbell squat. So we've got 10 seconds to get your breath back. 3, 2, 1. Up into that high plank. Feet wide, remember. Spine long. Really brace. A little bit of activation, squeeze through your glutes even. And then pull across. If you regulate your breathing, you'll find a rhythm. Keep that going, guys. Long spine, firmly pushing through your feet. Keep those hips as stable as you can. A little bit of movement's okay. You don't want the bum up in the air. You might find you're up here. Really keep nice and long with this one. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And release. Take a little bit of breath, guys. Take a break. Mainly because I need a break, but we'll keep going. So second circuit. So just take a moment to get your breath back and I'll demonstrate you the next circuit. So we're going to do single leg deadlift with a row. Really good stability exercise, this one. Very important we use the hips and not just the knee. Tough on the balance, you'll see. So we hinge back through the hip. We're on one leg. A little bit of knee flexion but the knee's over the ankle and then a pull. And that's a single arm row and then back up. And you can twist the dumbbell. So the dumbbell's facing my thigh. Hinge down, pull, rotate it so your palm faces your ribs. Back down, and then up. And as you can see, that's really challenging my stability there. I'm going to do that 45 seconds on each side. Next one, inner thigh, standing really nice and wide. From here, we're going to stretch the inner thigh, squat into the left leg, sit your hips back, and keep your chest up. This way, we'll keep the back nice and straight, okay? So when you're reaching towards the floor, really important that we don't just reach the hand down. If you focus on the hand, your hand will go down, your head will drop, and your back will round. So this is really important to stay really nice and strong through the back, really healthy, strong back. Chest stays up, hips sit back, and now you can see my back's in a really nice neutral position, okay? And then we're going to do that 45 seconds through each side. Next one we're going to do is a dumbbell curl and press. This is a neutral grip, hammer curl, and a neutral grip, shoulder press. Very important when we do our press, guys, is that those dumbbells are sitting over the shoulders. So we don't want the hips to be leaning forwards and the dumbbells to be pushing forward, so that's going to stress the back. We want to be working the shoulder muscles. So to do that, the hips sit on top of the heels. You hold the hips into position, lift your chest, then you punch the weights up so your biceps are close to your ears. So we're not pushing forward. It may even feel like you're having to push backwards a little, but as you can see in that position, it's a really nice straight line stacked from the dumbbells through the shoulders to the hips and all the way down to the ankles, okay? Then we're coming back down onto the floor for the last two. We're going to do skull crushers. Okay? Skull crushers are really good for your triceps. You can do this with 1 or 2 dumbbells. If you do it with 1, you hold it on the ends. You squeeze your elbows in, you keep your elbows still, and you bring the dumbbell to your forehead. You keep your shoulders down away from your ears so your lats are nice and active, stabilizing your shoulder girdle. Here, okay? Might be enough to do it with 1. If you're feeling really strong, guys, you can try this with 2 dumbbells. But it's really important you don't move the elbows. So we're not going down here or back here, which you'll see a lot of. You're keeping your elbows still. Imagine you're squeezing a ball between your elbows, dumbbells to your shoulders, and then punch the ceiling, okay? And then final exercise is a hip twist. Really nice exercise for your anterior core muscles and your obliques. Arms out to the side. The dumbbells pin your hands into position. The legs come up. Stretch your legs and kick them up. Now you might find, if you're a little tight in the hamstrings, you need to bend your legs. We don't want to, if we've got tight hamstrings, the hips will tuck under. So we need to keep the tailbone on the floor with the legs straight. And then we twist to one side, exhale through the middle, and twist across to the other side. Okay? So let's go. First one, single leg deadlift. 45 seconds on the clock, going in 5. 3, 2, 1. Inhale down, hinge. Exhale, pull. And back. Tough to balance this whole time. This is a really good drill. So if you're a runner, this is so good training for running. So we're working on hip extension, working on hip stability, which in turn will help to strengthen the knees as well, and really good for your ankle stability as well, as you can feel. Not easy to do for 45 seconds. Inhale down and exhale pull. Remember, we're turning that dumbbell. We want to be gliding the shoulder blade back and down, okay? And then to the top, okay? 15 seconds rest. Remember guys, when we're doing this one, we want that shoulder to glide backwards, so we're squeezing through the upper back. Really good for postural development. Here we go, other side. Hinge through the hips, bottom pushes back behind you, exhale row, and to the top. Inhale, exhale. Don't worry if you struggle with this one guys, this is all about the practice. You can't develop stability without falling over a number of times. Same as with the lunges, keeping that weight evenly distributed through that front foot. You don't want to lean forward too much. It looks like I'm leaning forward, but actually if you watch, it's just my hips going backwards. Yeah. Last 2. 1. Excellent stuff. Good. Next one is the inner thigh. So we're coming into a wide stance. Now, if from here you're quite tight through your inner thighs, you might not want to go too wide. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Sit into the knee and pick the dumbbell up. Just one hand. Down and up. When we do the second circuit, we'll come to look to adding a little bit of a weight. But for now, I want you to have that little bit of focus on sitting back through the hips. Keep that going, 20 seconds. So I'll give you a side view as you do this one. Hip sits back, shoulders forward. Dumbbell comes underneath you, it doesn't reach in front of you. So same thing, it looks like I'm leaning forward, but actually just sitting my hips back. And you get a really good stretch through your inner thigh. Last one. Excellent, 15 seconds rest, and we're going to change to the other side. Nice wide stance. Notice the toes turn out, okay? And then as I sit down, my knee tracks in line with the toes, and I sink down into the hip. So this is really good for the mobility around the hips. It's good for strengthening the inner thighs, as well as the outer thighs and the glutes. Shoulders forwards, hips back. Give you a little bit of a side view as well. So notice the hips, they just move backwards. And actually the dumbbell just stays in place. Just drops straight down. Pushing away, so you're spreading the floor. That will activate the glutes there to push the floor away. Last one. Excellent stuff. Good. Then into our curl and press. So this one for your biceps, for your shoulders, and for your triceps. So we're standing, curl, hands to shoulders, push, dumbbells over shoulders. Exhale with each rep. Remember to stay really stable through the pelvis. The shoulders stay slightly retracted. So when we're curling, we don't want to be in this position. We open nice and wide through the posture to keep the shoulders back, and then we can press up. So we're always thinking about postural development when we're working out, guys. Good. Then into those skull crushers. I'll try to do it both, see how far I get. Maybe you're going to have to move down to one. So this is up to you guys. 2 or 1. 3, 2, 1. Keep your elbows in position, they don't move. Imagine you're squeezing a ball through your elbows. Inhale to lower. Dumbbells touch your shoulder, exhale, push. This is isolated tricep work. But we're also working a lot of stabilization, again, for those postural muscles in the back. If you're not hearing as many cues from me, probably because I'm working hard to do this one. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy. Should have given myself a weight finish now. Good. And then the hip twist. Sorry, staying on the floor. Nice and wide. Hands in line with the shoulders. Legs up. And then we're going to twist. From here, keep your tailbone on the floor. Inhale to twist across to one side. Exhale, pull back through the center. Keep your head relaxed on the floor. The dumbbell is there to anchor you down, so you can actually pull up against it a little bit if you want to. It will help assist you. Really good for mobility of the back as well. This is difficult to do with straight legs, so you could always bend your knees if you're struggling there a bit, guys. Just bend your knees. You could even squeeze a little ball between your thighs. Useful way to do this one. Inhaling to twist. Really trying to push the shoulder back into the floor. Try not to let the shoulder lift off the floor as you do that one. Good, and resting for 15. And then we've got one more circuit left. So we're going back up into that single leg deadlift with the row. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back through the hip. Inhale. Exhale. Row. And back. I'll give you an angle from the front just so you can see what's going on the hip, knee and the foot. So frontal plane angle. Notice I'm moving slowly to keep my balance, or to try to keep my balance at least. And you can see here my knee wobbling around. That's the muscles in my hip having to stabilize my femur. So a lot of knee issues can actually originate from the feet, the ankles, and the hips. Not necessarily originating at the knee, but as a consequence of something else. Good, and then we're going to go back to the right side. Dumbbell holds in the left hand, hand facing the thigh. 3, 2, 1. Sitting back through the hips, inhaling, exhale to row and pull. Good. So my back knee is slightly bent. So I'm not reaching all the way. This isn't an arabesque, a different exercise. Okay, this is actually a deadlift, so we're sitting into the hip, so I am still bending the knee. Okay. Gliding that shoulder blade back, squeezing it. One more to go. Sit back, glide the shoulder blade back, elbow to the ceiling, and then release. Really good work. These inner thighs. We're going to add more load, guys. So we're going to take 2 dumbbells for this one. Nice and wide. This time sitting to that one side. Sit the hips back. But keep the chest up. Again, those dumbbells might want to pull you down, right? And the role of your back is to resist the gravity of the dumbbells. All right, so we're sinking into the hip. Inhale down, exhale up. It's normal to feel a stretch in the inner thigh on the right side if you're squatting into the left leg. And then important to remember with this one, guys, as we're sitting back into it, the hip comes up, and I've got to fully extend the hip here. Then the glutes will activate. So actually would be, hip comes all the way through there, and I'm neutral in my spine. Good. Then we're going to the other side, squatting into the right leg. Inhale down, and exhale up. Okay? We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So making sure you're not necessarily reaching the dumbbells forwards. Dumbbells are actually just going down, and I'm moving my body around the dumbbells. Nice even distribution of weight through the foot. Keep the shoulders slightly drawn back. It's a tendency to want to round off those shoulders with this one. And if you can, looking slightly forward. You don't have to look up, but it just helps to keep the chest up. Last rep. Excellent work. 3 to go, guys, nearly there. Next exercise, dumbbell curl and press. So from here, good stance, feet hip or shoulder width even apart, so you've got good stability. Torso upright, curl. Dumbbells to shoulders, press overhead. Exhale up, push. Remembering with this one, we're stacking up into a straight line. Okay. Last few to go. And really lock out those arms. Starting to feel it now. Really good, guys. Excellent. 2 to go, skull crushers and hip twist. 3, 2, 1, go. Remember here, we're just keeping those elbows in tight. So not as technical an exercise, much more isolated. But it's still important to keep that form. Try to keep your head heavy, so you're not pushing your head back into the floor or stressing the neck. You're pulling the shoulders down, pushing the upper back into the floor, and then just isolating and working through the elbows. Five, 4, 3, we'll get 2 in, 2, 1, good, well done, and release. And then that last one, hip twist, nice and wide with the dumbbells. Pinning the arms down, bringing the legs up. Remember, easier option with the knees bent, a little bit harder, the legs a bit straighter, or even harder, legs all the way up. Your shoulder might lift slightly off the floor as you twist your opposite shoulder. And don't worry if it lifts a bit, but we're trying to work on pushing it back towards the floor. So we actually get a good stretch off the biceps and pecs at the same time as working those obliques on this one. Inhale across, and exhale, pull. You might find that your legs want to start to drop down this way. If you can, just for the purposes of this drill, just keep them pretty much in a straight line. And you're noticing I'm bending my knees a little bit for this one, just to ease off the hamstrings a bit, the stretch on the hamstrings. Good, last one, and back through to the center. Excellent work, guys, really well done today. So, hope you enjoyed that workout. Feel free to use this as many times as you want. Obviously you can do it in the gym, if you've got a dumbbell rack at the gym. If you've got some weights knocking around or floating around at home, you can grab them and do this workout. And you can find some of my other workouts on the Body Club app or website. Thanks so much for joining today, guys. Cheers.